Hey, I guess I am now broadcasting live. See if I can hit the music, hit the volume. Maybe you can hear the music now. I'm Charlie Hicks-Moore, and this is my first Hangout. So, why am I here? I'm here to help you create more income and have fun doing it. And this is not just a way for me to get candidates to join me in a work from home company. I'm sharing lots of methods. Just as an example, we used to have a neighbor across the street who actually made a living for a couple of years with garage sales. I think he made about $36,000 a year, and he would get things for free. I don't know if you noticed, but some garage sales people are actually giving things away for free. Certainly that happens near the end of the garage sale, like if they start at 7 a.m., then around noon, maybe even 11, some of the things that they're willing to just give away because they're trying to get rid of them. In fact, we about a month or a month and a half ago got a nice couch. We weren't actually out there looking. We were going to go to the movies, and my wife saw the neighbor had a couch out there that said free. So we thought, let's go to the door and see if they're serious and if this is if the couch is taken or not. So we went to the door, and sure enough, it was free, and we just carried it down the street. The first part, my son and I and my wife carried it down the street, and then another neighbor saw us with the second part, and the neighbor's son pulled up and helped us to just load it up and drove it down, whatever it was, 100 yards, 150 yards to our house. So that's just one way for you to create income or save money. Again, we used to have a neighbor who made about $3,000 a month by having garage sales 2 to 3 times a month. Now, I haven't personally done that, but that doesn't mean that you can't. So, why am I wearing this hat? I'm wearing this hat because I actually do like to play poker online, even though we can't do that in the United States anymore. I'll probably be here one of these days playing for fun, but I happen to notice a gentleman by the name of Jason Somerville, and you can find him on YouTube as well, who has a really good way, his presentational style, I guess, I find to be very good, and he's on Twitch as well, and that's where I saw him, twitch.tv, I believe, and I watched him a couple of days, and I thought, wow, I can do this myself. Now, over time, I expect to become more polished. I was a Toastmaster for 10 years, so I do have a little bit of comfort with this, but I finally have decided, okay, it doesn't really matter what I look like. I can go and make videos and help people that way. So this is the first one, and I expect to do this fairly often. I also expect to have another one which is geared towards North San Diego County, not necessarily about creating more income, but about what's going on in North San Diego County. Another one possibly about writing. And maybe I will incorporate crowdfunding into this one. I actually did a crowdfunding campaign with the San Diego Heritage Museum that ended last month, started February 28th, my birthday, and went for about, I believe it was 42 days. We raised a little over $2,500, which was our goal. And I've learned some things in the process that can be helpful to you. I think that a lot of people can raise money through crowdfunding, and they just don't know it. It is a little bit of work, but what I believe is that crowdfunding is something where if you did it twice a year or maybe once a year, you could raise money for your project more and more each time. So while I don't know if the San Diego Heritage Museum is going to do it again, it was a handful of us, or maybe less than a handful of us, that were really moving forward with this project. So that is one of the things that I've learned, is that you really want to get buy-in from everybody. And so I do think that they're a great group of people, but I'm more interested in crowdfunding in the future. And so I plan on doing that for myself. I have a cousin who's an inventor, and also organizations, or at least teaching them about what I know about crowdfunding. So that's just a couple of ways that people can create more income, or in fact save money. That's the other side of the coin. Robert Kiyosaki said that you can, generate a lot of wealth over time by either creating more income, and he recommended working from home. I don't remember whether he specifically recommended multi-level marketing. I guess that is one possibility. I believe that there are sort of modified versions of that that are not technically multi-level marketing that can work for the average person. I do believe that you have to be a strong leader in the typical multi-level marketing company in order to make a lot of money. And most people are not that strong leader. And most people, in my opinion, are not necessarily interested in growing to that sort of strong leadership position. So my strategy for work from home happens to be that is working with a work from home company is something that the average person can generate some income over time. But they don't necessarily have to be a strong leader. And I guess that's it for this first one. I don't see anybody popping in there. And I guess that's to be expected because unlike Jason Somerville, who I learned really about this from in the last couple of days. Jason Somerville on Twitch. He's also on YouTube. And I really like his style. I happen to like poker, and maybe that's not something that you're interested in, but if you check him out, you'll see that he has a pretty natural style, and I think that's something that can be very valuable. And I was also excited too because on Twitch they actually show people paying for a subscription, and they show when somebody renews, and I would see him in like over the course of a day, say 5 hours, 20 people would resubscribe. And that was like $4.99 a month. And so that's another way. If you become really good at this kind of thing, especially if you are interested in games. Now, his game is poker, but he's also involved with some other, what some of us old fogies might call video games, but in fact are often played on the computer. And that is one way. If he's making, say, $100 a day, that's $3,000 a month from people that are simply subscribing to watch him. So while that may not happen tomorrow for you or for me, it is something that we can look at over time. And I think the other thing is that so many people get themselves into a position where when they're first looking at something to create income, they're really in more of a desperate situation. Not everybody, but many people are like, well, I need $2,000 next week. A lot of things will not do that for you unless you are actually a really good salesperson to begin with. And if people are telling you, yeah, you can make $2,000 by next week, number one, it might be a scam. In fact, I would say it probably is a scam, in my opinion. Or if it's not actually a scam per se, it might be the sort of thing where you spend $1,000 or more, and then you get your friends to spend $1,000 or more, and maybe you do in fact make $2,000 in a week or two. But then where are your friends? What position have you left them in, having they put in their $1,000? And I, by the way, I'm not talking about the illegal stuff. What are those? It's amazing all the kinds of things that are out there. But I'm talking about stuff that's legal, but not really doable from the standpoint of, when you get a bunch of friends in who aren't necessarily going to work it, how are they going to feel after they spent that money? And then realized, wow, I don't really have the time to commit to this, or or maybe they don't like the leadership. That is one of the things too, where I've been involved in companies before. I had a friend of mine from Toastmasters, and I got some products, and so technically that meant I was signed up. And one of the things that she shared with me later on was that she wasn't really pleased with the person who was her leader, and neither was I, by the way. And so that is something that can get in your way. Now, if you're looking for something that's really smooth and polished, I can polish up pretty well, but my preference is to be more informal. Although, yes, I'm probably going to shave and get a haircut very soon. And lastly, I'll just put in a plug right now because it is May 14th. On the 23rd in San Diego County, in the city of Encinitas, we're going to have the 27th annual barbecue for the San Diego Heritage Museum. It's a fundraiser, and it's a wonderful, it's great food, and we'll have live music. I believe they're called 2+1. They do a lot of Willie Nelson stuff, and the guy really sounds like Willie Nelson. So while I'm not personally a big country music fan, I do like Willie Nelson. And if you like Willie Nelson, you could come and enjoy the barbecue and that barbecued beef, that deep pit barbecue. And we'll have silent auction. I believe that we'll have a raffle. I believe we'll also have a children's petting zoo. And by the way, one of the reasons that I know this is that I'm currently on the board of directors of the San Diego Heritage Museum, and I will be completing 2 years at the end of September. And I'll continue to be a volunteer then. I also blog. So if you want to check us out, it's sdheritage.org. The blog is at sdhvoices.wordpress.com. I own CoachZero.com and a crowdfunder.com, and we'll be developing those. So we'll discuss ways for you to create more income and in some cases save money. So check out CoachZero.com, and that my that will direct you right to my Coach Zero blog, or sdhvoices.wordpress.com if you want to find out about the San Diego Heritage Museum. I'm Charlie Hicks-Moore. Everybody is welcome on these. That is, everybody that's going to remain civilized is welcome on these Hangouts. And unless I think I did a really poor job, they will remain live on my YouTube account. This is actually my second attempt, and I expect to get better over time. Again, this in itself is a way that you might be able to create some more income over time. And so hopefully you'll be able to look at me and go, wow, this guy is not, like super polished. Maybe I could do this too. And hopefully over time, you will see that I improve. And by the way, I am, you might be able to tell, I'm actually at our dining room table in our home. And so you can do this. I actually also recommend, just Googling stuff to find out how to do it. Like I actually Googled how to do Google Hangouts. And that was after I checked out Twitch and thought, well, I wonder if I could do something on Twitch. And it seemed a little bit more difficult. It seemed like you had to be a lot more technically minded. Whereas this is, you look at the video and it tells you how to do a Google Hangout. And I actually follow the guys on YouTube that I saw that video on, as well as following Jason Somerville. And then another gentleman, which he's got a video on YouTube telling me how to delete my videos on YouTube. So that's what I actually did with the first one. Technically, that makes this one the second one. And there you go. This is the first time, and I hope you'll join me for future Hangouts as we learn together. And, one thing I want to just mention is that a lot of people have hobbies. What if one of your hobbies is creating more income? Think about it. Have a great day.